callback. So today we're gonna do callback. Callback basically is when something happens, then we're gonna do it, and not just wait for or check every tick for something to happen. Instead, when a certain something happens, then we do it. So this is mostly used for like achievements, but we can use it for other stuff. So in our case, we're gonna use it for our bullets. So the moment the bullet hits an object, we're gonna detect the object, we're gonna see if it has a health bar, which we created as a CS, and if it does have a health bar, then we're gonna drop its health until it's 0, then it deletes it. And now what I did was I got these 3 boxes, the old guys over here, I changed their scale to a 1, and I gave 2 of them a body rigid. Now why am I doing this? You'll find out soon enough, but the main reason why I did this is I'll show you how to do it with an object that has a physics and an object that does not have a physics but has a health bar. So how are we gonna do this? So let's go here. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the gun that we're gonna use. I'm not gonna use the shotgun anymore, so I'm gonna remove that, and I'm just gonna do the shoot raycast method. Then I'm just gonna mute the realistic one, and I'm gonna pass in the shoot instead. So what it does is it actually shoots. Now for shooting, we're gonna add one more line. We're gonna add a bullet dot world look at, and it's gonna ask for a look at. I'm just gonna create a little argument here, call it a vector3 look at. So now it's gonna ask for where to look. We're gonna look at the ray2.point, or the position where we where the point is, the one that we want for the raycast. So now it's gonna look at that place and it's gonna shoot it on there. So that's that. Now for health bar, we made a function, we gave it a private int health, and we showed it in editor, so you can edit it up there. Then we just gave it 2 functions, drop health and check. So for drop health, it's an amount, and they're all this one's a public and this one's a private. The drop health basically puts an amount, the health drops it by amount, and then we check it. So then the check is if the health is less than or equals to 0, then we delete the object that has this health bar. Okay, once we do that, we're also going to create a function called void on enter. So this is when we hit a collision, and we're going to add also an object body. So we're going to add a body rigid, or rigid thingy, the body itself. Okay, so we're going to have 2 things, and then we're going to change our int. So for this guy, what we're gonna do is we are going to do this and this and this, because we're gonna add a few things here. So first things first, we're gonna do rigid equals to node dot object body rigid. So now this connects the bullets body rigid with the body with this function. Next, we're going to add something called a callback. So if I were to go here, we have an enter callback delegate function. Now this one is called enter add contact enter callback. So when we hit something, so when this bullet hits something, we're going to give it the callback function. Now this one's a little bit more important than the other one, because the other one is when it touches anything, but this one is when it hits something. This one only checks when we hit something, so we are going to do rigid dot add contact enter callback. Alright, and then we are going to ask for a delegate function. So over here, a delegate would be, if you look here, it says this, we can do that, and we can do this as a signature. Now there is another signature, I can't remember what it was, but I believe it was just writing on enter, and then over here we were to give it the two body and int num. So body and num, and that already connects it. So perfect. So we don't really need to do the other way that it tells us, because now it's going to say for every unique object that does this. So on enter body, so when we hit something, we're actually going to do two things. So we're going to do body 1, body 2, and captured body. I'm just copying with my C++. So for body 1 equals to body dot get contact body 0 num. Okay. Whoopsies, forgot the equal sign. Alright, then body 2 would be the same thing, but give contact body 1, and then for captured body we're just gonna make it equal to null for now. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna authenticate this thing. So what happens with contact body 0 and contact body 1 is the object that it's basically which object got hit and which object is doing the hitting itself, right? And then nums is how many numbers of them that got hit and how many of them that did not. So we're gonna first check if body 1, so if it exists, right? Let me just put brackets. So if it exists and body 1 does not equal to rigid, so our original does not equal to the bullet, then captured body equals to body 1. Why we're doing this is because we're doing pointers. We have to be extra careful on these things. So 2, and if 2 does not equal to the rigid, then it equals to that. So now we're going to do an if captured body, because let's say if it didn't connect anything. Let's say if it hit something, but it's not a body rigid. If it's a collision, we're going to do stuff. So we hit a body. We hit an object that has a body. Else we hit a collision. Alright, so that's the main coding, what's it called? Try and catch method, or like checks that we have to do to make sure that we don't get broken. So first things first, we are going to say, let's say we hit a body. What we're going to do is now we're going to do health bar health equals to get component, right? And we're going to get the component health bar from captured body dot object, because the captured body is the rigid, the object is the node itself. So now we're gonna get it. If it exists, if health, so if it exists, then health dot drop health by 1. Okay, we're just gonna drop it by 1. Now let's say we hit a collision. We're going to do the same thing. If we hit, it's that. Then instead of captured body, what we're going to do is we're going to do body dot, I believe it was surface, get contact surface, yes. Get contact surface num. So the object that we hit dot object, or maybe I'm wrong, body dot, it wasn't a get contact service, it was get contact object, I believe. Get contact object Yes, this gives us the object that we just hit. And we're going to choose num, the object that we hit, and we're going to see if it exists, and we drop its health by 1. And that's about it. Now if you want to actually check it, then we could just do a log message, and then we could do a message of hit 0. Dot name, or message, actually /n right here. Just copy this, paste it, hit nope, and just copy paste this part. Alright, and let's just choose hit collision, hit body. Alright, and that should be it. Alright, the other thing we're gonna do is when we actually do hit this, node.delete later, so we don't have to see it alive again. And we could do this actually right when we immediately as we hit it. Immediately as we hit it, we delete it, and then we say we did all this. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, so we pick it up, hold it, then I just shoot. We hit the body thick, call it ground thick. Oopsies. Alright, and it died. So the reason why it's a little bit off, because of the laser, it's throwing you off. But there you go. Lost his health. Finn has a lot of health. See, when we hit the ground, oh man, I didn't correct it correctly. I didn't put it correctly, I mean. Alright, and you get the idea. He is down. Alright, so that's that. I will have to fix that collision again to make it correct. That looks correct. I don't know. I'll try to figure out why it's not doing the way I want it to. But anyways, we got the main thing working, which is our health bar and our contact. So we didn't do anything amazing other than the fact that we aren't using this on an update. So we're not checking every second that we hit something. We're only checking when we hit something, thus saving us that resource time that we needed. And it basically gives us so much space on performance. So basically, the object's not doing anything except the moment it dies, or it's longer than its thing. So if you shot it in the air, it's gonna delete itself, but if you hit something between this time, then we can do this function. And we literally added it with one line: rigid.add contact enter callback on enter, and that's it. And then it chooses the object that got hit, the object that is hitting, and then we gave it a check to see if they actually exist. Alright, and if they do exist, because we did hit something, this thing only calls when we hit something. So if we hit something that has an object bodied rigid or an object body itself, then we say we hit that body, and then we check its health bar, and if it actually has a health bar, we drop it by 1. If we didn't, then we just ignore it. But let's say if it was a collision, so we hit something but it wasn't an object body, we delete the object itself, the bullet, and then we say we hit that object. This is just for our debugging, but let's say if it had a health bar, then we drop its health. Simple enough. So these could be like your barriers. So an object with no rigid body on it, or like just collision enabled, could be like your barriers, your areas that you have to have guns to shoot through, like wooden doors, like in Tomb Raider or something. While the other ones could be like objects that exist and have physics in it. So yeah, there's all that. Now you could also have it where if the object was like hanging by a thread and it broke, then you could have given it a contact where it says like if it fell to the ground it can explode, or if it hits something it explodes, or something like that. So there's a lot of possibilities on this and a lot of things that can save us what do we call a lot of memory for it. But anyways, that's it for callbacks. That's it for just a small little taste of optimization. We will do something else, probably GUI. So, you know, having health bars. Instead of just knowing our health bar, I want to actually see like a red bar or like a green bar or like a number on top just saying that he lost health or something like that. But anyways, that's it for today. We will talk again later. Alright? We'll see you next time. Goodbye.